Well, now let's talk about how do we understand the exam, what kind of questions you can expect in the exam, and how we are going to prepare, how I'm going to help someone to reach the PfMP certification. Well, see, object of the course that I have is to gain portfolio management knowledge as described by PMI and pass the PfMP exam. So there are a few important terms over here. First one is to gain the portfolio management knowledge. See what happens when you look at, to pass any certification exam, there may be many strategies. Either you memorize the whole standard, one may pass, or you go through thousands and thousands of questions, one may pass. However, when you understand the subject well, apply it to your own experience and apply it to the question that you get in the exam, I am more than 100% sure you're going to pass the exam. And that is the approach that I am taking as well. For that matter, no need to go through thousands of questions. 500 questions are more than enough for you to pass through the exam. It's not about complexity, or it's not about, even same thing with PMP or PGMP. No need to go through thousands and thousands of questions. Understand the subject well, anything can be done. And many people say, this is very difficult. Nothing like that. Okay. The difficulty or easy basically stems from our understanding of the subject. So obviously, when I don't understand the subject well, everything looks very difficult. Right? So let's gain the portfolio management knowledge so that we are going to write, optimum way we are going to study and pass through the exam. And one more thing, when you search for portfolio management in the Google, okay, you find thousands of links. My suggestion, look for project portfolio management, because financial management, portfolio management, most of the links may point to financial portfolio management. The equity, mutual funds, how you're going to say all that. Okay. However, we are not looking into that portfolio. We are especially looking at a project portfolio management. So as a project portfolio management, it has few specific processes, specific way of looking at. Example, you may buy a share today or an equity script of a company, and tomorrow, if you don't like, you can sell it off. But when you start the project, tomorrow you can't just stop it. It has some inertia. It has the cost attached to it. So the way how we look at project portfolio is a bit different than financial portfolio. And one more thing, look at the information that is compatible with the PMI standard. There are many links again for a portfolio. Many experts have shared their way of looking at the portfolios. There are so many books, but it may not be compatible with PMI standards. So you have to stick with what PMI says, at least till you pass through the PfMP exam. After that, you can look into any book. That's fine. Well, okay. See, the exam have 170 psychometric type multiple choice questions with 4 options to be answered in 4 hours. Most of the questions are scenario-based questions. Maybe I would say around 70, 80% of the questions are scenario-based questions. About 20% questions are to check your understanding of the terminology that is used in the portfolio. Well, so you have a question, maybe about 4 or 5 lines, and you have options. All that you need to do is click on one of the options and move to the next. Nowhere you're going to type. There may be few questions which have a graph, which you have to interpret, possible. And one more thing, all of them are multiple choice questions. and you have to answer in 4 hours. That means every question you have on an average 1.5 minutes. 1.5 minutes. Most of them find it sufficient to answer the questions. But of course, one should have a good practice, understanding the standard, ECO, go through it. And there are 5 domains are there in the portfolio management. When someone goes through the result screen after the 4 hours or when you say, I am done, it takes you to the result screen. The PfMP result for each of this domain can expect the grades for each of the domain. It could be above target, target, below target, or needs improvement. By and large, all put together, it should be more than 0 or equal to 0. I mean, this is my theory, okay? PMI has not announced how they are going to rate someone into, divide into so and so grade. This is my view, okay? Maybe above target mean more than 75 to 85. This is 65 to 75. And this is 55 to 65. And this is less than 55. This could be, okay? So when you get the grades, overall, it should be equal to or more than 0. So imagine this is above target. This is 0. This is -1. This is 0. This may be +1. So this guy is pass. Right. So my advice is to not think about how you're going to get a grading at all. Because anyway, we don't know how they are going to grade it. So write somewhere where you study above target. I'm pretty sure you're going to do above target. A lot of people have done it. You can also do it. So no need to worry about, 65, 75, above target, below target. Just forget it. Let's do a good job of understanding the subject, applying the understanding into the scenario, and you should do it. Believe me. Well, what is required to pass through the PfMP, prepare and pass through the PfMP exam? In my view, these are the 4 critical success factors for you to pass through the exam. One, we should have a good fundamentals. Portfolio management basics, how it is different from project or a portfolio approach or a program approach. Okay, some general management concepts are required, like what do you mean by a benefit, value, change, organization management, governance, resource management. These are the basically new topic that you may learn as you go as well. Then PMI standard for portfolio management edition 3. See, when you go to the PMI site, you have an access to the portfolio management edition 4. That is the latest standard. However, PMI has not moved to the version 4. It is still with edition 3. This point is very clearly written in the certification page on the PMI site. And all the questions and everything is based on this. So, because this is one of the common mistakes people do, go to the edition 4 and to start studying it. That is a big mistake that you would have done. You have to have the edition 3. There is a pointer in the PMI site as well to edition 3 that you can print and then you can study. That is one of the study guide. Second important document is PMI, PfMP, ECO, examination content outline, and also the change management. There is another standard from PMI. Maybe first 1 to 2 chapters, more than enough if you read into change management. Good enough. See, when you start studying something new, obviously there is a, infinite, the information all over. We are all having a lot of information overload. Okay. So it's all about how my strategy, how I am going to study, how I am going to understand, in an optimum way and how I'm going to pass. Otherwise, all through the life, I'll be keep reading about maybe project, program, portfolio, whatever it could be. It's endless thing. It's all information overload. So one has to be very clear about how the study approach as well. And critical thinking skills. This is very important, especially when we look at the scenario-based questions. In each scenario, you are a portfolio manager, and you have to make a decision where to allocate the resources. When a overall risk exposure of a portfolio is very high, what you can do among the four options, which one you're going to take is all basically making a decisions like how it happens in a daily life. So critical thinking skill is all about with a limited information available, something like in an exam scenario, how you're going to make a sound decision. It's a technique. You can master into it over the time when you start applying it. Beautiful method. It applies to any domain, and it is for managers, especially for managers who make the decisions. Okay, and then experience. You should have a management experience about how you manage multiple projects, people reporting to you as a project managers. Wonderful. Either you may have direct experience or you may learn from others. Both are there, right? And one more thing, when we say experience, it is not that, when I said I have 20 years of experience, that doesn't mean that anything. It is the hardship that you had been through. It is the lessons learned. You recognized yourself that I made a mistake in so-and-so scenario. I don't want to make it again. Each one of us have such an experience, whether it is in office, your home, or yourself, or with friends, it happens. There is no perfect manager or a person either in this world. So accept when you think you have to, you would have done it in a better way, and then start incorporating into your work. That is what you call experience. Well, so because in the exam, when you look at the question, you can feel yourself that you are into that scenario. So that helps a lot in connecting with the scenarios. Good. Now, last slide from me, and then we'll go for a question and answers. How do I guide someone through the PfMP exam? This is my approach. This is into 4 stages. Stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. Stage 1 is to acquire the knowledge, and this is about 28 to 30, 32 hours of training. More than a training, I would say it is a knowledge share. I have the points. I'll be talking to you how we are connected, and I have the practice questions as well. And we discuss about how we understand the portfolio management principles as in the standard, how it can be implemented. And then week on week, you will have some small assignments as well, maybe to study the standard, some practice questions. Well, at the end of the stage 1, you can expect that you have a high level understanding about the portfolio management, what to look for, where, what kind of a question you can expect in the exam, what are the strategy to answer. This is what happens in the stage 1. Then the stage 2. Stage 2 is to build the knowledge over and above what you have acquired. So I have many practice questions which will help you to convert the text, knowledge from one form to the other. The standard is full of text. So if you can convert that into, let's say, mind map or a data flow diagram or a picture or something, it helps you conceptualizing that particular skill, the knowledge. It's a very important step, I would say. When you start doing it, then you'll start looking at how they're all integrated. You may have a lot of questions, you get into curiosity. So convert the knowledge one form to the other, you are going to be a better knowledgeable person. For that matter, any subject for that matter. I also have 500 plus questions through a simulator and about 100 or 200 practice questions as well. And quite a few books are available in the industry as well, in the market. Many of those question banks, what I have seen is you may not get, that kind of a questions in the exam. It is all good for you to study the standard because most of them are going to focus on input, tools and techniques and outputs. In the exam, you're not going to get such a question at all. Maybe 3, 4 maximum. Portfolio manager is a very senior manager in the company. Okay. So, and a senior manager having a lot of experience. So it is not about, asking some manager about, tell me where you find that what and all that. It is a childish question. So such question banks will only help you in connecting back with the standard again, but may not be, help you to prepare for the exam. Or it may create a false confidence into you. So you have to be careful. Okay. And I also have question and answer sessions for those who already booked the exam. Have the exam date. This is to clarify any questions that may have after going through so much of questions and the standard. So fine tuning towards the exam. And my suggestion is to apply for the exam when you are in the middle of the stage 1 or when you start the stage 2, so that you have an understanding of what is portfolio management, how it is different from others, so that your way of writing the answer or the experience change a lot. And the stage 3, now I'm talking about the last 1 to 2 weeks, some intense preparation that you are going to do. Any unresolved topics, something important from the exam perspective, last minute preparation. I don't say last minute, sorry, maybe last 1 week preparation. And I also form the study groups, those who plan the exam in the upcoming month or so, maybe about 3 or 4 people, so that they can also discuss among themselves and take the exam. That is the best possible way, and it helps a lot. And then maybe last couple of days, if you are new to take the exam, then you may need a week. Otherwise, maybe 2, 3, or 4 days. It is about managing exam anxiety. Remember one thing, a lot of people study, even if they have the exam in the afternoon, they study in the morning as well. These exams are not about last minute preparation. Something you should have carried maybe a week or 2. That is what is going to be in your brain, because it is not about reproducing what you know about it. It's about application. So it's very important that you are going to understand the subject well, and all the first stages is about that. It's not about your performance in the exam at all. It's about understanding the topic. So I'm going to provide you the courseware, the presentations and other information for you to study. All the sessions are going to be recorded and will be available to you for later use. And assignments in an open question format, so that you can do I see each question should be treated as a window to look into the standard again and again, right? So it is not for you to prepare for the exam. It is to understand the subject well. And then mock test, application review and assistance, as I said, some useful formulas, tools, whatever is required for you to pass through the exam, I'll be providing you as well. Then you can also get 28 or 32 videos, depending on the overall course length, and a course completion certificate. These videos can be used for you to maintain other certification from PMI. Possible. And I'll be available through, phone, meetings, WhatsApp, mail. This is what I do. Program management, portfolio management, and also risk management. So I keep daily connecting with people from Taiwan to California all through the day. I'm happy to do that. Overall, now I'm just talking in a very generalized fashion. Okay, one may need about 125 to 150 hours, give or take about 25 hours, should be good enough for you to optimally study, practice, and take the exam and pass through it. This 125 to 150 may be over the 4 months, the ideal way to plan. Okay. In other words, it is like spending 1 or 2 hours a day, or about 7 to 8 hours a week, I would say. So plan for a horizon of 4 months. So, I mean, if you start from today, then you should be good to take the exam sometime from September or August. I mean, better to plan for that. Even though you can prepare it in 2 months or 3 months, because the application process itself takes some time. Okay, so minimum about 3 months is required at least. Comfortably 4 months, and my suggestion is that you should not go beyond. Okay, because I mean, it may be a practice of many of you. Yeah, uh, the overall momentum that we built may start coming down. So let's not leave it on. And that is one of the crucial factors. Okay? Very good. Now, let's look at some of the questions that are here. Okay, good. Okay, one of the question is that in case our application is rejected in panel review, would the PMI refund the exam fees? Yes, very much. So in case, imagine when the panel review fail, PMI send a mail. So they explain very well. PMI, I mean, they say panel review members do not find you have a portfolio management experience and they have these observations. And as I said, they give you an option. Either you can go back, request them, they open the, the application, you go back and edit and then submit again. Or another option is that now at this point of time, if you are exiting, we are going to reimburse you. Whatever you have paid will come back to you. Okay, that's right. So PMI, I mean, it happened in a couple of cases. They didn't want to pursue for multiple reasons. Especially this happened during the pandemic. Okay, maybe any exigencies one may have in their family or travel or any constraints. They didn't want it to go forward. I think it is only in 2 cases. But in any way, PMI also says in the application handbook that they are going to reimburse. And I have seen that as well. Okay. Another question says, my understanding is once we clear the panel review, we will be able to pay the exam. No, not exactly. You pay the fees first. PMI takes you to the first level of qualification that happens through the, through the panel review. Second level qualification is through the exam. So you will be paying before the panel review. Okay. Thank you.